Welcome back to Where You Live with Gene and Tony. We're so glad that you are part of our show here today. If you're just tuning in, we want you to know that we're broadcasting live from the Concierge Landscape Studios. We're also brought to you this hour by Extreme Exteriors. And we had a lot of great calls from listeners in the last week who responded by calling our hotline. If you have a comment that you wish to make, a question you'd like to ask us to address on next week's show, let's give you that number.
Sure. Call us on the hotline, 952-224-2668.
Yep, that's 952-224-2668. We will gather that information, and we will either talk to you off the air beforehand, or just bring it here to be addressed here on the radio show. We also want to say we had a number of people that responded and wanted that free membership, remember, for CAI, for the community.
Right, you offered that as a gift
Institute
to the first person who called and left us a comment on our hotline last week.
Yes, and we have, and I'm happy to say, we have the first winner, the first of 12, who is receiving a 1-year membership to the Community Association Institute. Her name is Hansina Bendel, who is the treasurer of the Auburn South Homeowner Association, a self-managed association in Hopkins. And so, Hansina, we will be getting that information to you shortly. And that's going to be just a great resource for you.
Yeah, they're going to find out how much information and how much experience they're going to be able to draw from once they become a member of CAI.
Yes. And speaking about resources, too, one that I will also bring up here before we get back to our next story here, and that is at New Concepts, we offer free webinars. And those are things you can go online and be able to sign up and take. They usually are anywhere between 20 minutes to an hour in length.
Yep, and from the comfort of your own home.
That's right.
You can sit and eat your dinner and listen to the webinar.
And the very next one is going to be Wednesday, September 28th. It's called a Homeowner Association Legislative Update, and that's going to be led by our very own Paul Roth, who's Executive Vice President of New Concepts. We're going to be covering some of the legislation that tried to pass this last year, legislation that did, and what that means in affecting homeowner associations, and how you govern and interact with one another.
Good topic.
And to get more information, to sign up for that webinar, you can call us at our office, 952-922-2500. Ask for Courtney. She'll give you that information. Or go to our website at www.newconceptsgroup.com. You'll go under Education and Resources, and you'll be able to be led to sign up for that webinar.
Great.
Well, let's get into our next story. And as I mentioned before, this is taking place from Ypsilanti, Michigan, and the court there is ordering the Homeowner Association and Management Company to clean up a Hoarders condominium unit in that property. And I'll begin here. This took place September 16th. A Washtenaw County Circuit Court judge ordered the cleanup of a Ypsilanti Township condominium littered with raw meat, among other debris, including dead rodents, within 21 days.
Oh, my Lord.
Yeah. In a verified petition filed with the court, township attorneys allege that the Wingate Park condominium owner, Elmer Sheldon, is hoarding the meat. Now, they know it's Sheldon, and Sheldon told township building inspectors he's homeless and no longer lives in the condo.
That seems like a contradiction, doesn't it?
And you'll understand more as we keep going on here. It says township officials said Sheldon has owned around 8 homes in the township at one time or another. And all of them, not just one, all of them have required some form of nuisance abatement action by the city because of unsanitary or blighted conditions. One home at 1810 George Street had to be demolished. Can you imagine that?
My goodness.
And the township attorney, Dennis McLean, wrote and said in the petition that the meat was what caused a severe infestation of rodents, fleas, flies, cockroaches that professional pest control companies haven't been able to address. Now, upon inspecting the property at the end of August, township officials found rotting meat in plastic bags, decaying animals, animal feces, money strewn through the debris, 30 bicycles. And then this is the one that gets me, Tony, unknown soft items in various states of decay. Mold and even raw chicken stuffed in a mailbox. This is unbelievable.
Now, a couple of times in my adulthood, I think there's been penicillin growing in the back of my refrigerator. I mean, I got to admit, that kind of thing happens once in a while, but oh my gosh. Can you imagine the smell and the atmosphere in this home?
It makes me think, when Mr. Sheldon was talked to, he said that he's homeless, no longer lives in the condo. I don't know if that's true because later on, of course, in the story, the people in the condominium association are not responding to that they've foreclosed on Mr. Sheldon at all for any reason. It does.
So it sounds like he's paying his dues.
Yes. So that's not the issue at all. I think what we're talking about is just something that might be just a mental disorder.
Oh, absolutely. I think this makes it very clear that this type of behavior usually is not about finances. It's not about physical disability. It's a mental health issue. And the person is compelled to operate like this. Yeah.
It is. Now, the association, it goes on here to say that the Wingate Park Condo Association and the managing agent, Pasco Property Management, initially here says, have done nothing beyond writing Sheldon a letter about the situation and calling it an exterminator, said McLean, who wrote and verified in the petition. I don't want our listeners to think that this is necessarily a example of an uncaring board.
No, that's
or
right.
a do-nothing management
It sounds like
company.
they did take the action, the first steps that they should have taken, and that was they notified the owner and they called an exterminator in to try and deal with the situation. And a homeowners association can't just barge into someone's home and take over and start fixing things up. It's a private residence. So it sounds to me like to say they've done nothing beyond this, well, they've done everything they could up to this point.
And that's interesting, but that seems to be the complaint that we hear more and more from people when people are upset with their government, whether that's state, federal, the homeowners association. They're saying, I want action taken care of now, and you're not taking care of it quick enough for me. So the response is you're doing nothing.
You know what? To go a step beyond that, the complaints we get from associations are about the association not doing enough and not doing what they should do, or the association's doing so much and too much, and they don't like it that they have to pay for it.
They're being dictatorial,
there's
big
no
brother.
way. There's no way you can keep everyone happy.
And I'd like to address that for a moment because I think
everyone happy.
And I'd like to address that for a moment because I think what you said is true. We need to remind our listeners when you're talking about the ownership responsibility in a condo association in any common interest community, you're talking about ownership, and that ownership means it's a different situation than the landlord-tenant situation, which I think most people think about in the back of their mind. They think of the association as the landlord that can tell the homeowner what to do. You'll hear people say the association is telling us all what to do all the time. They can't force you to do.
They can't evict you. They have to take legal steps and they have to go through the entire process in order to be justified, in order to treat everyone fairly.
Yeah, that's right. And so you've got a case here where I think that the court needed to interact. And be able
and
to.
the city. I mean, I would always recommend to an association, if something gets to this point, get the city inspectors there. You need this kind of outside inspection and outside influence to help you go to the next steps.
Oh, most definitely, you do. We need to take another quick break. When we come back, Tony, I'd like to address this a little bit more about what it is that the association and or management company can do. What are those steps that are probably going to be involved before actual action can take place? More on the situation of the hoarder from Ypsilanti County after these messages.